Content warning. Echo can be emotionally intense experience and may not be for everyone. Echo contains themes of adult nature, including violence, torture, drug usage, and harsh language. Viewer discretion is advised. I whimper softly in the back of my throat. Please. About to be murdered and you just beg like a little bitch. Shut up! I can't help it, and as I hiss through my teeth at that goddamn voice, I don't need to hear it, especially now. Brian stiffens and turns around. What? I shake my head, squinting and unable to see his face as the bear turns the light on me. Nothing, No, you were talking something. Did you see someone? No, I don't know. I shut my eyes against the light and only see blood red. Brian chuckles and my vision goes back to black as he takes the light off of me. I was the same way as you. Let me tell you something though. Ignoring it ain't gonna make it go away. Brian finally stops scanning the ground and crouches down. It takes me a moment to realize that what he's looking at until he reaches down and picks it up. A smooth stone. Brian looks at it for a moment, thinking. Then he drops it off to the side and looks back down at his book. Daniel, 19, ferret. He was the smallest. I think. Should be enough room. I made Brian a hillbilly, because like they felt like a hillbilly. Same with Duke. I made them both hillbillies. It just came out. It went from southern to hillbilly. Brian shines the light back down at the ground for a moment, then seems to make up his mind as he sets the butt of his flashlight on the ground. Also, it's more horrifying that he sounds like this and is this, like, big. It brightly lights up the ceiling, leaving us a dim yellow glow. Brian eyes me for a moment, positioning himself so he can watch me while also doing his work. Crouching over, Brian starts breaking through the hard surface of the dirt with the pickaxe, grunting with each stroke. He can only do short swings, the ceiling too low for Brian even to stand up straight. At that point, the smell of Brian has almost overwhelmed the stench of death. I guess it's one of the few things I don't mind his smell covering up. Why aren't you at least trying to escape? Because he's in the way. Because you're a coward. Why the fuck are you talking to me now? I thought you left. I never left. You know that. You felt me even after you left town. I shouldn't have come back. Probably not. I'm going insane. Brings me back memories of my old life. I'm going insane, and it's bringing back all of my old demons. No, I think it's because you're in the mine. I think you figured out that it's the source of everything, haven't you? The voice I've been trying to ignore all week has changed. It's not vague or insidious anymore. It's more natural, like a real person. More like what I used to hear when I was a kid. Well, I was a real person. Sometimes I even doubt I am that person. It chuckles, and I feel the back of my brain itch. More like a... what do you call it? A simulation? It waits for an answer, but I don't want to talk to it. Oh, stop pretending I'm not here. You could feel me. You felt me looking over your shoulder since you've got here. I let my head thump against my knees, closing my eyes. Well, really ever since Sydney. Just ignore it. But I can understand. Even I feel as though something is controlling me. It's the oddest thing. Hey. I snap my head up, jumping as I find the bear staring right at me. The hell you mumbling? Nothing. Brian chuckles again and reaches across to the other wall, grabbing the shovel. He starts digging up the loose patch of dirt in front of him. Yeah, keep it to yourself, I guess. But like I said, you ain't the only one. Brian gestures behind him with a thumb towards the ground. I look and see nothing except a few stones on the ground. After Rachel back there, things got way, way worse than aliens for me. I saw her at night, crawling on my ceiling, peeking out from under my bed, staring at me from my window. Brian grunts as he digs the shovel deep, then lifts, turning a pile of dirt to the side. So did Duke. Drove him crazy. Turned him into a speed addict. Not that I mind. He was always my most reliable customer. The sick, sweet smell starts to grow again, and it's starting to become overpowering. I feel like I should keep talking to him, get him comfortable, and buy myself more time. Should you, though? Who's Rachel? Duke's wife! I try to remember what I know about Duke's marriage, aside from the fact that he isn't married anymore. I realize that then I do remember Rachel, but just barely. She was only around while I was in grade school and was pretty nice as far as I can remember. Didn't he divorce her? Brian shrugs as he stops digging, resting on the handle. I guess he sort of did, but I mean, she was dead by then. They wanted my stuff, but didn't have the money, so I cut them a deal to fuck for the drugs instead. I mean, I can't say I like bitches at all. Annoying and whiny. And she let me go way farther than Duke ever did. Oh, fuck. So I mainly fucked around with her. It's hard for me to picture exactly what the fucking was. And then one day, I guess I went too far. She died and we buried her right here. What the fuck? Brian points more specifically at the rock sitting against the other side of the wall. The big bear starts digging again, more vigorously, lengthening the patch he was working on. But I didn't see her until right after I buried her, maybe like a week later. The bear shakes his head and laughs mockingly. You think that stopped me from doing it again? But you know, when that last breath came out of her and she sort of shuddered on the table, Brian glances up at me. Blew my load without even touching it. Made me wonder how good it would be with a guy if it was that good with a bitch. You want him to keep talking? Brian pauses in his sudden spurt, digging, and looks up again at me. Probably wonder why I'm telling you this, thinking I'm crazy. But I don't know. Feels good to tell someone. You're like my own therapy otter. I don't know if it's the talk. If I'm taking this the right way. No, it probably is. Maybe. The bear looks back down at the hole he made. The smell coming out of it is overpowering, and I'm on the verge of gagging again. I don't see her anymore, though. It changes with each one. 7 stones. And it probably changed again. And with that, the bear comes at me. The space is so small, it only takes him 2 steps. I screamed and covered my face. Coward. And I try to fold up into a tight ball as I can, but before I know it, Brian had me by the back of the shirt. He drags me over until I'm kneeling next to the hole. I can see it's definitely a grave now. You already knew. Because I can see the bones poking through the dirt and the bits of blue and white cloth that were its clothes. You mean Daniel? The 19-year-old ferret? I feel like me telling all this to you and me being nice to you so far, maybe don't come back after me and just move on. I feel Brian move around behind me, then press something cold into the back of my head. A gun. I guess Brian probably has plenty of those. I'm doing this town some good after all. How? I blurted out, my mind racing, trying to think of something, anything to get me out of this. Brian does pause, though. How? What? How is this helping anyone? Why are you doing this? A few seconds go by, and I'm sure I'm about to hear the crack of a pistol, the last thing I'll ever hear. Then Brian sighs. Again, I feel like I should tell you everything, so you don't have to come back and fuck with me. But Duke, he said, this all started when you came back. I told you, I have no idea why. My voice raises in pitch as I start to panic. Duke had already tried to kill me even after we tried to convince him I had nothing to do with any of this. Not any of this? Are you sure of that? I feel Brian set his feet behind me and I can picture him getting ready to pull the trigger. I'm going to die. This keeps happening, doesn't it? This hysteria. I'm sorry. Remember this? Remember, this is for the good of the town. To me, It's like the town holds its breath, letting all the evil build up until it has to let it out in one big go. Brian grips into my head fur, pressing the barrel of the gun into the back of my head. And you brought a lot of guilt and evil with you back to this town. Maybe that was enough to push it over the edge again. Rest easy. So in a way, it is your fault, isn't it? My eyes are watering, and I don't know if it's from Brian's grip on the fur or if I'm crying. Help me. I say it to you. Look to the right.
Ooh.
I glance to my right and see something standing in the entrance to the little hollow. It's faint, either because of the dim light or because the thing itself isn't quite opaque. It's tall, white, and gangly, and its long fingers nearly touch the ground. Its face is heart-shaped, the whiteness of it interrupted by massive, shiny black eyes in its face. It stands there, motionless, watching us. I stare back, open mouth. Brian must have taken notice, because the next thing I knew, the bear squeals. It's so loud and high-pitched, I wince. Brian lets me go just as the thing moves. It seems to lean forward and glide towards us, but the gliding is stilted, like a film with half seconds missing from it. It flickers, seeming to turn transparent as it grows closer, the white fading into pink, then a bright red for a brief second before reverting. I'm frozen, kneeling as I watch. Brian backs away and promptly steps on the flashlight. The lighting careens sideways, and I look over to see Brian's foot slip on the cylindrical flashlight before his rump comes down hard on top of it. All the light is extinguished, and I can't see the thing or Brian now. I hear him, though, as he let out another screech of pure fear, like a wounded animal. I hear something else, too. A voice that's also high-pitched, babbling something fast and scentless. It's like a tape recorder being rewound. Brian's screeching impossibly turns up a notch, and I instinctively move forward, away from the horrible sounds, and I pitch forward into the hole. The smell engulfs me as I feel the hard, knobbly things in the dirt around me. Where are we going? Just taking the back road, but we're leaving the city. Yeah, well, I live out the city. You didn't tell me that. Let's just go back to the club. Oh, right. Let me. I said pull with the fucking lock. You best not be doing that. Hey, get up me. I gasp and scrambled out of the grave, gagging uncontrollably. Once I'm out, I curl onto my side, drawing in my knees again. The horrible screeching and bizarre babbling language continues, though the sounds from Brian are more ragged now. Occasionally, the room flashes with light as Brian shifts around, but I face the wall, not wanting to look. Get up. I curl up tighter, just waiting, hoping that I wake up. You sniveling little shit. Get up.
Sniveling?
Sniveling? Sniveling?
Sniveling.
Sniveling! It's a Pokemon now. Break the trauma with a little bit of humor.
Yup.
I press my face into the dirt. Trust me, there's far worse out there, and it's coming. Ah! Fuck!
You okay?
I got scared by the care package.
Lol.
I'm lowering the command, the point commands. Oh my god!
Someone quick, arson the chat.
No! Ah! Oh.
Exclamation way.
Oh god, that's still. Oh my god, I'm lowering that. Oh my god, I just. Jesus Christ! And no one's gonna hear that on the VOD because I took the alerts out.
Almost as bad as the one time you got so scared you punched yourself in the
Oh
throat.
my god, this is like Outlast all over again. Anything can set me off.
Booga booga booga.
Ah. Trust me, oh, get out. I've given up. Get up. You force yourself up onto your hands and knees and start crawling. My face is turning red now, and I feel the pins and needles again. Flashing light continues to roll around, giving you glimpses of where you're going. But thank you for the care package. I took a chug of water. The sounds from Brian stopped. Now it's just the mechanical gibberish that seems to be growing in pitch and speed. It's just Animal Crossing. But you don't look back. You don't need to see that. The otter is already broken enough. Wait, hold up. Why are we referring to ourselves? Who is this talking? You don't need to see that. The otter is already broken enough. Soon you're crawling through the exit and the cacophony behind you is immediately muted. It becomes more and more faint until it almost disappears as you come out the other side. Once you're free, you stand up in the comparatively fresh, cool air. The main tunnel. You remember this place. You also know that the tunnel is like the back of your hand. Why do we know the tunnel's like the back of our hand? It's pitch black, but if you feel along the walls, you should be able to find your way out. Who is this talking? You heard to the right, down towards the end of the main tunnel, with your right hand dragging along the wall. Then, when you feel an opening with your hand, you take a left, and then another right. And finally, a final right that takes you out the back exit. Nick had drilled the directions into your head far too many times for you to... Who's Nick? Ah! It's in the hall!
Booga booga booga.
Ah! Red eyes appear at the end of the tunnel. At the end of the last stretch, you freeze and observe. Things in the mine can hurt you for far worse than things outside. Brian had just experienced that. Oh my god. But you're not sure. Is this one of the Otter's demons? Who are we? Why are we referring this as Otter? No, it's something else. Something you're not quite seeing correctly. A friend, the lizard, he's warped. Chase! Flynn! I slump to my knees, shaking uncontrollably as Flynn shines a light down on me. Fuck! Chase! Come on, let's go! Flynn yanks me to my feet, and the next thing I know, I'm stumbling after him. Out of the mine, and out of what I'm now completely convinced is hell.